presentation entitled Phytochemical and Biological Investigation of Verbena tenara spring cultivated in Egypt by Dr. Taghreed Ibrahim. Dr. Taghreed Ibrahim received her master's and PhD in pharmacognosy from Cairo University, Egypt. She teaches pharmacognosy and phytochemistry courses for bachelor, PharmD, and postgraduate students in the College of Pharmacy at King Saud University in Riyadh. Her research interests have been in the broad area of traditional herbal medicine, phytochemistry, and natural products. She is also the director of Quality Unit, College of Pharmacy, King Saud University. She has published more than 25 papers in reputed journals. She is a member and reviewer of several societies and journals and has been serving as an editorial board member of reputable journals. Please, Dr. Taghreed.
Thank you, Dr. Ihab, for this kind introduction. It's my honor to be with you today in this highly respected conference to present my research work entitled Phytochemical and Biological Investigation of Verbena tenara spring cultivated in Egypt. Genus Verbena, belonging to family Verbenaceae, comprises about 250 species of an annual, perennial, or herbaceous or semi-woody plants. These are photos of the most attributed Verbena species in Egypt: Verbena officinalis, Verbena venosa, Verbena rigida, and Verbena bonarensis. Previous chemical investigations on several Verbena species reveal the presence of many chemical constituents, many classes of chemical constituents. The most attributed chemical constituents in Verbena species are flavonoids, iridoids, phenolic acid, phenylethanoids, verbena chalcones, essential oils, and triterpenes. Several flavonoids were isolated from Verbena species, especially abigenin and luteolin and their glycosides, vitexin, isovitexin, orientin and isoorientin, and cresariol. And these are distributed in many Verbena species. Recently, 2 new iridoids were isolated from Verbena officinalis. They are verbiophyllin and 7-hydroxydihydrohistatoside. Verbascoside and martinoside are phenylethanoids that were isolated from Verbena bibennatifida. And verbanochalcone was isolated from Verbena littoraris. Essential oil of Verbena officinalis was studied, and the major constituents identified are 3-hexene-1-ol, 1-octene-3-ol, linalol, verbenone, and geraniol. And several triterpenes are recently isolated from Verbena officinalis. Medicinal plants belonging to genus Verbena are reported to be used as tonic, diaphoretic, sedative, diuretic, antidiarrheal, expectorant, and as anti-inflammatory topical application. And the previous phytochemical studies proved that Verbena species have antioxidant, antifungal, antibacterial, parasiticide, immunostimulant, antidepressant, hypotensive, hepatoprotective, neuroprotective, and hypoglycemic effects. Based on the available literature, there is no data concerning either the chemical composition or the pharmacological activities of Verbena tenara, except the iridoids at 1999. So the chemical and biological investigation of Verbena tenara spring appears to be very interesting for us. The aim of the work is to investigate qualitatively and quantitatively the chemical constituents of Verbena tenara cultivated in Egypt, especially investigation of its content of essential oil, investigation of its petroleum ether extract, its methanol extract, especially phenolic content, flavonoid content, phenylethanoid, and iridide content. In addition to evaluation of biological activity of essential oil, methanol extract, and petroleum ether extract, concern especially the anti-inflammatory effect, antimicrobial screening, and antioxidant effect. This is the photo for Verbena tenara collected at flowering stage from April to May. The study of the essential oil of Verbena tenara by isolation of the essential oil from the fresh aerial pores at flowering stage by hydrodistillation method using Clevenger apparatus. And the table shows the physical characters. The yield of the essential oil is 0.21%. The oil is yellowish-white in color with aromatic characteristic odor, lighter than water with specific gravity 0.87, and the refractive index 1.46277. The constituents of the volatile oil was studied by GCMS analysis, which reveals the identification of 10 compounds representing about 82.54% of the total composition of the essential oil. Citronellyl acetate is the major constituent, followed by menthol and eugenol. The methodology for isolation and identification of the methanol and petroleum ether extract was achieved by extraction of the powdered aerial part of the plant by petroleum ether, then evaporation of the petroleum ether to yield 0.5% of the petroleum ether extract, then saponification of the petroleum ether, which yield unsaponifiable fraction, which subjected to GCMS analysis for identification of its steroidal compounds, triterpenoidal compounds, and the sterols, and the saponifiable fraction, which was acidified and methylated with methanol in presence of sulfuric acid, and then studying of its content of methyl esters of fatty acids. The defatted powder was subjected to extraction with methanol by percolation several times, and the methanol was evaporated under reduced pressure to yield 6% of methanol extract, which is subjected to studying its phenolic content by Folin culture reagent, flavonoid content with aluminum chloride, phenylethanoid with Arnos reagent, and iridides with Trim and Hill reagent. The results of quantitative analysis showed that methanol extract of Verbena tenara contains about 46% of total phenols, for 46 microgram percent of total phenol calculated as gallic acid, 19.1 microgram percent calculated as quercetin, and the phenylethanoids 165 micrograms calculated as verbascoside, and the iridides concentration was 32.77 microgram percent calculated as herbicide. The table here shows the results of GCMS analysis of the fatty acid methyl esters in Verbena tenara, which revealed the identification of 18 fatty acids, where erucic acid was the major one, followed by arachidic and palmitic acid. GCMS analysis of the unsaponifiable fraction proved the presence of several compounds. We identified 18 of them, which represents 81.56% of the total unsaponifiable fraction. Two steroidal compounds were determined, which are stigmasterol and β-sitosterol. Two terpenoidal compounds, which are lobuol and orsolic acid. Stigmasterol was the major constituent, followed by octacosane and hexacosane. Flavonoid content was studied by HPLC coupled with mass spectroscopic identification, which the chromatogram showed the presence of 6 main compounds of flavonoids, which was determined by a comparison with authentic samples and comparing the data with the published one. Isovitaxin was the major flavonoid detected, followed by luteolin 7-O-glucoside and abigenin 7-O-glucoside, which is in agreement with the results of several other Verbena species. Biological study of essential oil, petroleum ether extract, and methanol extract, including anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, and antioxidant activity. The anti-inflammatory effect was studied using rat paw edema method, using carrageenan as to induce edema, and endomethacin as standard anti-inflammatory drug. The diameter of the edema was measured at intervals of 1 hour. And the figure here shows that ethanol, essential oil showed no anti-inflammatory activity, while both petroleum ether extract here and methanol extract showed a high anti-inflammatory activity. Methanol extract showed higher anti-inflammatory activity. And the effect increased with time to reach its maximum after 4 hours. Screening of antimicrobial activity of the essential oil and 2 extracts by this agar diffusion method using Whitman number 3 filter papers. The diameter of the discs was 4 millimeters. The plates were incubated at 37 degrees centigrade for 24 hours for bacterial strains and 25 degrees centigrade for 72 hours for fungal strains. The diameters of inhibitory zone were measured in millimeters, and gentamicin and amphotericin B were used as a standard reference antifungal, antibacterial, and antifungal respectively. Minimum inhibitory concentrations were determined using microdilution process stability assay using Miller-Hinton media for bacteria and Sabarot dextrose agar media, broth media for fungi. The table here shows that both essential oil, petroleum ether extract, and methanol extract inhibited the growth of Staphylococcus aureus, Staphylococcus epidermis, and the Candida albicans, while they have a less anti-inflammatory activity against Klebsiella pneumonia, Proteus vulgaris, all tested Candida species except Candida albicans. Both essential oil and the methanol extract showed inhibitory activity on the growth of Pseudomonas aeruginosa and the Shigella woodgei, and only methanol extract exhibited inhibitory effect on the growth of Streptococcus pyogenes and Escherichia coli. The antioxidant activity was studied based on scavenging activity on the stable DPPH free radical. The concentration is about 3 milliliters of 0.001 molar TPPH in methanol was used, added to 1 milliliter essential oil or extracts at different concentrations. The percent inhibition of activity was calculated as the equation, and the IC50 was IC50 for each of the oil and extracts were calculated by linear regression plots. Here the table shows that the petroleum ether extract showed no antioxidant or free radical scavenging activity, while methanol showed a higher free radical scavenging activity than that of essential oil. Ascorbic acid was used as standard or reference antioxidant agent, but the table missing the data for ascorbic acid, sorry. To discuss these results, essential oil showed antimicrobial activity, which might be attributed to the presence of citronellyl acetate in high concentration, which was proved to possess antimicrobial activity against Staphylococcus aureus, Staphylococcus epidermidis, and Candida albicans. Also due to presence of phenol and a high percentage of menthol and eugenol, which were proved to have antibacterial and antifungal activity. The antioxidant activity of the essential oil might be attributed to monoterpene, its content of monoterpene hydrocarbons, and also to the overall chemical constituent contained in this oil. Petroleum ether extract showed antimicrobial activity. It is a moderate antimicrobial activity, which might be attributed to presence of stigmasterol and lobule, which were proved to have a moderate antimicrobial activity. The significant anti-inflammatory effect of petroleum ether extract might be attributed to presence of stigmasterol and the well-known anti-inflammatory steroidal compound, β-sitosterol, of course, and to presence of lupule, which was proved to have anti-inflammatory, analgesic, and antipyretic effect. The high TPPH free radical scavenging effect and anti-inflammatory effect of the methanol extract might be attributed to presence of its content of flavonoids and phenolic compounds, and methanol extract also exhibited antimicrobial activity, which might be attributed not only to flavonoids and phenolic compounds, but also due to presence of its content of iridoids and phenylethanoids. In conclusion, essential oil, petroleum ether extract, and methanol extracts from aerial parts of Verbena tenara exhibited anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and antimicrobial activities. These effects might be attributed to the detected compounds in the essential oil, steroidal and triterpenoidal compounds in petroleum ether extract, phenolic acids, iridoids, phenylethanoids, and flavonoids in methanol extract. And these results showed that Verbena tenara could be considered as natural antioxidant and antimicrobial agent, and to present a good anti-inflammatory remedy. Finally, I'd like to express my great appreciation to my co-authors, Dr. Atif Al-Hila, Professor of Pharmacognosy and Head of Pharmacognosy Department, Faculty of Pharmacy, Azhar University, Cairo, Egypt; Dr. Arachidic Tawil, Associate Professor of Pharmacognosy and Deputy Chair of Pharmacognosy Department, College of Pharmacy, King Saud University, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia; and Dr. Halal Hifnawi, Associate Professor of Pharmacognosy, Pharmacognosy Department, Faculty of Pharmacy, Cairo University, Cairo, Egypt. And finally, I'd like to thank all of you for your kind attention. Thank you.
We have time maybe to one question to Dr. Taghreed, if any.
Just a quick one.
Okay.
You use the refractive index.
Yes.
You measure it.
Yes.
Is it stable? Can you use it all the time for all the essential oil you isolated?
It is stable, yes.
Oh, that's good, because you've got phenolic acid sometimes can be oxidized, you know that.
Phenolic refractive index for essential oil. For essential oil.
And then you can use it topically.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.